we're going. Hey.
Hey.
1, 2, 3. Whoa!
Hey.
That's about how we do it. Hey, this is the start of something new.
Yeah.
You know that song?
But I don't know.
High School Musical.
Oh, this is the start of something new. It's a little past my age range.
Oh man, High School Musical had such a moment. People loved it. My friend Tamar is trying to. She's talking about. She's trying to get the song "Dead or Alive" by. Want it? Oh wait, it's all the same. That song.
Yeah, Bon Jovi.
Yeah, Bon Jovi.
How the names change.
My friend Tamar is just as of Monday. She is obsessed with turning that song. Is it Dead or Alive?
Yeah.
Turning Dead or Alive into a musical, like a cowboy musical, and I really like the idea.
It should be a motorcycle musical because he rides a steel horse. Or does she actually think that the horse that he's riding is like a mechanical, like a steel horse?
I bet she hasn't thought out about the horse being a steel horse.
He's just talking about going on tour too. It might just be like the tour bus. Yeah. Because he's seen a million faces and he's rocked them all.
He's rocked them all.
That's one of the lines. I've seen a million faces.
Yeah.
And I've rocked them all. That's just Bon Jovi, John Bon Jovi.
I don't know much about Bon Jovi. I just know. Wait, did they do?
Your friend might be confused, is what I'm saying.
What is the street lights or?
That's Journey.
Yeah. Okay.
Street lights. People.
We sang street lights. People for choir in like 6th or 7th or 8th grade.
Like church choir.
Middle school choir.
Oh, okay, good.
I was in middle school choir.
That's not a Jesus song. It could be.
No. Well, I was at
Jesus was a small town boy.
A very a very
Nazareth was a small town.
My church I grew up going to was Church of the Nazarene.
Oh, nice. Lets you know where Jesus is from.
Nazareth. That
could work. Just a small town boy, Jesus.
Yeah.
Living in a lonely world.
But
Middle East.
Yeah.
It's like the Midnight Camel.
Took the Midnight to what's the next part of the song?
Going to Damascus. I don't know.
I don't know what Damascus is. What's Damascus Steel? You've heard about that.
Hey, we are off the rails starting episode 11. This is still Sober Boys podcast.
Sober Boys.
I'm Drew and I'm an alcoholic.
I'm Taylor. I'm an alcoholic.
Real quick, our opinions shared by both of us do not represent the official opinions of Alcoholics Anonymous or the central offices thereof in New York. We will put some links down if you are searching for help in a 12-step program. This is for entertainment purposes only, but we would like to help as well.
Yeah, attraction, not promotion.
Yeah, I feel like
attractions, not promotion. What is it? It's the AA theme park. Attractions, not promotion.
Oh, and it's got to be in Ohio too, right?
And Drew, I know who makes all the roller coasters.
There's various companies. I mean, you're gonna have some B&Ms in there. You're gonna have to have some Rocky Mountain coasters. Have to do a nice little hybrid coaster there for it. Intamin's gotta have to have a multi-launch coaster in there. Oh man, because this thing called the 12 Steps Alcoholics Anonymous can feel like a roller coaster.
Yeah. So would there be a ride called the 12 Steps?
Well, yeah, you got to stay on. It's your there's no straps. It's your desperation to stay alive.
Yeah. Man, would there be a coaster like that's relapse themed?
Yeah, it's the drop tower.
Yeah. God, this is kind of a good idea.
Because you go back to your bottom. Because you're up here.
Yeah.
Up shit. You just quit doing the stuff you're doing to stay up there, and then you drop back to your bottom.
This theme park would be kind of sad.
Yeah.
It seems like
that
it's a good
idea.
idea.
That would be Al-Anon, the theme park.
Oh, Drew has it out for Al-Anon.
I don't. I read Two Wives, and I felt bad for bad-mouthing Al-Anon. It's very necessary, and it's very important, and everyone needs a support group, especially for those that are struggling with people in their relationships that are in active alcoholism. So... Wow. Full-ass apologies to my bashing of it. It was in jest, but it was still an in-jest bashing of Al-Anon.
I don't even know if it was on the podcast. I think we cut it. So.
Oh, shit. That's when we were cutting. That's when we were editing it.
That's when Drew had the time. And now...
It's just balls to the wall, raw energy.
Yeah, no, it's fun. We're having fun.
Because my computer's dead.
This episode's brought to you by Drew and Taylor.
Yep, brought to you by us. Hey, Taylor, what did you do today to stay sober?
What I did to stay sober today was I got up, I prayed. I'm still praying on one knee because I really messed up my knee when I messed it up.
Pull a Tebow?
No, it's a Colin Kaepernick prayer.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. I like that better.
Prayed.
Tebow's kind of dumb.
I talked to you on the phone. Kisses his son on the lips.
Mm-hmm.
I kissed my son on the lips.
He didn't do that. He just imagined it.
Come on out here. And then my son comes out. It's just Tom Brady.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I talked to you on the phone, and I talked to on the phone.
Oh, cool. You talked to somebody else without the name.
Oh yeah. Whoops.
You're gonna have to beat that.
I can
now.
beat that one.
Yeah.
It's yeah. And that's about it. Work was very busy today. You know who you are. But yeah, what did you do?
It was one of my first days off from. I had 2 jobs. It's my first days off from 2 jobs in a while.
Bartending and coffee.
Yeah, it's whatever. I do what I do, and I do I do it well. No, I'm just kidding. I do what I do. I prayed, did the Serenity Prayer and the 3rd step prayer, saying, "God, you got this," and we're going to talk about that a little bit more.
Yes.
I worked with a sponsee. Like I said, we read the 2 Wives chapter, so a little foreshadowing there. We will eventually get there. It is a bit of an archaic chapter in terms of in the way it's written, but there's some important stuff in there, like me realizing how important Al-Anon is.
That's why it was written.
Yeah. I talked with my very own sponsor, and I, did all that stuff, worked out, and was present with my partner and fiance, and spent way too much money on Costco stuff.
Uh-oh. But you're meal prepping. You got chicken. I feel like people have
just chicken, just $450 on chicken.
I feel like people that have like I never really had a problem with 2 Wives. Like, yeah, the languages in here is outdated, but the whole book has a little outdated.
Yeah, this
language.
is some foreshadowing.
But it's also
we've joked about it already, how outdated. This was written in like the 30s and 40s.
And, sometimes Bill is on one.
Yeah, he be on that stuff sometimes.
When he gets italicized,
cha-ching.
But it's like I've been doing this thing in and out for a while. It's just, after a while, for me at least, like I don't really care about the outdated words anymore.
No, the important kind of message that you get out of the big book is what we're reading.
Yeah,
is that's what you're trying to seek out.
Yeah.
But man, when I didn't really want to stay sober and my heart wasn't in it and I wasn't desperate enough to try these steps here, I was like, that's dumb.
Yeah. But
I don't think so.
Yeah, this is also just stuff I'm saying right now today. I bet I'll go to a meeting sometime in the future and we'll read out of the book. It's like, damn, these words are old.
Yeah.
Get some new words. How do you feel about them bringing out the current day word AA book?
I don't really care either way. Do what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would like a Gen Z one. I would like to know if these steps are bussin'. Yeah. I'm 32 years old. I don't know how to use these words.
Dead ass. I want to open up a big book and it's someone zooming.
Yeah.
The big book to me.
How's Bill's drip is what I want to know.
On God.
Is Dr. Bob shelling out them drippy fits?
I don't like all those words. They make me mad.
Makes me feel old.
I guess
that's not what I use.
But do kids talk like this?
Bet.
Yeah, but that's like from when I was in college.
Really?
Yeah. It's been out for a while.
That like 2 years ago.
Drip makes sense, but drippy fits. Well, drippy fits I think is just poking fun at the words
I don't
being
know.
used. Well, I think it sounds like it's time to get into it.
It's time to get into it. Hey, for those of you that forgot what we're doing, we're reading the first 164 pages of this big book, or what's called the Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, written by Bill Wilson
the biggest book of all.
1935.
When Bill set out to write this book, he said, I'm going to write the biggest book ever.
It's going to be huge physically. The words are going to be the pages are going to be giant.
Yeah.
And Guinness Books of World Records are like, I advise you not to do that.
Yeah. Bill, you're losing sight of the goal. Mm-hmm. Your goal is to get alcoholics
But he
sober.
reined it back in, and that's what we have today.
That was Self-Will Run Riot.
Mm-hmm.
Was Bill trying to write the biggest book ever.
And in the first draft, he talked about that a lot more.
Yeah, this is the 4th edition after all.
Hopefully you understood that was all in jest.
These are jokes. This is a joke. There's nothing in here.
We
aren't sober. Just kidding. We're going to get into it.
We are reading We Agnostics, which is surprise, still about God, and your own interpretations of he, her, them, it.
Yeah. It's the chapter where we trick the people who hate God.
Yeah. People are desperate. They want to figure out how to quit drinking. They're like, give it up to something you can't see. And they're like, fuck. That's not what I wanted.
But the Ponce meeting last night, there was a big God meeting. Yeah. It was good. I like a meeting where everyone's on board with God.
Yeah.
It's like, we're all like, and then there's it feels like it opens up a bigger dialogue. Mm-hmm. Because the dialogue can be so big, because everyone's interpretation of God is different.
It's a broad highway. Yeah. We've mentioned that before.
Beep, beep.
Guess what's coming in? A semi truck. Yeah. Guess what else is coming in? Clown car. Yeah. It's wacky races.
Oh no. Guess
what else is coming in? Fucking
Santa Claus.
ho.
Okay. All right. What did you, it's Drew and Drew's off.
All right, we're at page 50 in the second paragraph of page 50, I believe, is where we left off. Yeah. So I will start reading, and we'll talk about what we are reading. Back to the book, We Agnostics, page 50. In our personal stories, you will find a wide variation in the way each teller approaches and conceives of the power which is greater than himself. Whether we agree with a particular approach or conception seems to make little difference. Experience has taught us that these are matters about which, for our purpose, we need not be worried. They are questions for each individual to settle for himself. On one proposition, however, these men and women are strikingly agreed. Every one of them has gained access to and believes in a power greater than himself, herself, what have you. This power has, in each case... No,
it's just for boys.
Just for boys. With two boys, we're talking about it. No girls allowed. That's
the rules.
That's step 14.
God is a man. God's a big, strong, handsome, sexy man.
Yeah, those are.
That's what Bill sounded like.
Those are that's our comedy team. Two confused Italians.
Two confused Italians. Yeah. You tie your shoes today?
Together.
I'm still stuck on Velcro. I Velcroed mine together.
Oh, boy.
Something
tells me we're not doing this thing right.
Well, I always wanted to tell you this. You're not wearing shoes.
Oh, shoot.
You're wearing two sandwiches on your feet.
I got to quit being so confused.
You keep eating shoes, you keep wearing sandwiches. Okay.
Yeah, I get it. They eat the shoes instead of the sandwiches. Yeah. What a bunch of dumbasses.
What a bunch of idiots. Those guys stink.
Okay. The point is, it's for everybody. And we're back to the buck.
My new favorite character.
Too confused Italians. As a celebrated American statesman put it, let's look at the record. Here, who are we talking about? Should we? I guess we'll look that up.
This power has.
As a celebrated American statesman put it, let's put it. Is that like a president saying?
Let's look at the record. Let's look it up.
Is that a famous quote?
Famous quote. Let's look at the record. Boy, Bill, you got cheeky with this one.
Is it FDR?
Look.
No, this is the 30s.
Record. Let's look at the record. It is a thing.
Is it Woodrow Wilson?
Let's look at the record. Smith Alfred Emanuel. It's a book.
Who's that?
It's a phrase commonly attributed to Al Smith, the Mount Vernon. Let's look at the record. Not only
we've lost the plot already, haven't we?
Was a phrase commonly attributed to Al Smith. The Mount Vernon Daily Argus wrote in 1934, Al Smith, campaigner par excellence and coiner without peer of salty phrase, never invented a more ringing challenge than his famous, let's look at the record.
It's just like a regular thing. That's not a slogan.
Not only that, there are countless examples quoting him just the way that Cliff Merritt did. It even appears in a 1957 ad for the Bowery Savings Bank. Let's look at the record, as Al Smith used to say. Smith has been dead for 13 years at this point. So they're saying,
shout out Al Smith.
When you used to say shit, you were the first person to say it.
Whoa,
it's your quote, I guess.
Hey guys, cut that out. Yeah. Cut that out.
Whoa,
cut that out.
Cut that out.
Never fucking heard that shit before. Put it on a button. Put it on a slogan.
Cut that out. Michael's mom.
I gotta go. See you guys later. See you guys later. What?
Get out of town.
Al Smith, with another banger. Al Smith just
he had a lot.
He just conned his way into phrases.
You can't take that. Al Smith.
Another Al Smith classic.
Talking to a little boy stealing some candy.
All right, Al Smith said, let's look at the record. That is a whole tangent of us just being like, let's look at the facts,
Thanks for the riff, Al Smith.
Okay, back to it. We're going to get through this chapter. I believe in us.
I believe.
Here are thousands of men and women, worldly indeed, that flatly declare that since they have come to believe in a power greater than themselves, to take a certain attitude toward that power, and to do certain simple things, like the steps, there has been a revolutionary change in their way of living and thinking. In the face of collapse and despair, in the face of total failure of human resources, they found a new power, peace, happiness, and sense of direction flowed into them. This happened soon after they wholeheartedly met a few simple requirements. That's been true for me as long as I stay in action.
Yeah.
I think you could say the same. All right, we're going to get into the few simple requirements. Back to the book. Once confused and baffled by the seeming futility of existence, man, yeah, all right. They show that the underlying reasons why they were making heavy going of life. Leaving aside the drink question, they tell why living was so unsatisfactory. They show how the change came over them. When many hundreds of people are able to say that the consciousness of the presence of God is today the most important fact of their lives, they present a powerful reason why one should have faith.
Man, that's great stuff.
It's good stuff.
Last night at the meeting, someone was sharing about. Someone said one thing, and I wrote down in my phone. I wrote down on my phone.
Well, you looked at the record in your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I looked at the record.
You pulled an Al Smith on your phone.
I pulled a classic Al Smith looking at the record. Let's get an instant replay. Look, the Al Smith replay. I had it pulled up, and then Al Smith had to. I wrote down, I don't know what's best for me. God does. Someone was sharing about I don't know what's best for me, like in my life. And someone else shared about like. So
how do you know how to do the next right thing? I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Someone was sharing about God always gives me the amount of money I need. He never gives me all the money, and that made the room laugh really hard. But it's just like, there's a lot of like. I kind of like perspective shares about be like, oh, I don't have it so bad.
My sponsor likes to always say when I'm stressing out, usually a work thing, God never puts too much on your plate, basically. Yeah. And I'm like, but it really feels like there's too much on my plate. And he's like, but he doesn't though. You'll get through it. And every time, if I give it up and I just do the work and I ask for help and I delegate, eventually I'm going to get through it.
Yeah. My sponsor always says, could be snakes.
On a plane.
Yeah. You could be on a plane. Snakes could be on the plane.
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson could be the pilot.
Yeah.
I don't know how that movie
Actually,
goes.
Keenan Thompson was the pilot.
Really?
Yeah.
Who does Samuel L. Jackson play? I've never seen the movie.
He plays the cop that's like trying to help the random white guy that's never been anything else. Like,
really?
He's like a witness for a crime.
The snakes on the plane,
and the criminals were all like, I don't know, let's put a bunch of coked up snakes on the plane so it kills all the. Everybody.
They were on cocaine.
Yeah.
Really?
And, like, amphetamines and stuff.
How did they get
snakes on meth on a plane?
How did that happen? Why is that not a known thing?
It's pretty known if you've seen the movie.
Oh, that's true.
The snake bites the.
It's like bison?
No, it bites his penis off when the guy's peeing.
Does it? Did it bite it off?
Well, he latched on.
And do the snakes kill everyone?
I don't want to give that away.
I'm not going to watch
Just say Keenan Thompson lands the plane pretty successfully.
Sick.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Pulls a good old Keenan. Anyway, we're going to get back to it.
The book?
Yeah. Should I pass it off to you?
Yeah, here we go.
All right, cool.
You ended at the word faith, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Excuse me. This world of ours has made more material progress in the last century than in all the millenniums which went before.
We're going to explain why God isn't, so far-fetched.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that because I wasn't thinking those words.
Sorry.
No, it's a good thing you said it. Almost everyone knows the reason. Students of ancient history tell us that the intellect of men in those days was equal to the best of today. Yet in ancient times, material progress was painfully slow. The spirit of modern scientific inquiry, research, and invention was almost unknown. In the realm of the material, men's minds were fettered by superstition, tradition, and all sorts of fixed ideas.
Yeah, ain't you ever seen Fiddler on the Roof?
No.
It's a whole song about it.
Never seen it.
It's called Tradition.
I haven't seen Fiddler on the Roof, Snakes on a Plane. The Hoosiers.
All right, we haven't talked about Hoosiers on there. All right, continue.
The spirit of modern scientific inquiry, research, and invention was almost unknown. In the realm of the material, men's minds were fettered by... Oh, I already read that.
Tradition.
Some of the contemporaries of Columbus thought a round earth preposterous. Like you'd go to the edge and fall off the side.
Yeah, that's only in Narnia.
Yeah. The earth is flat in Narnia. Mm-hmm. Others came near putting Galileo and Stitch.
Galileo is a real guy.
Yeah. Galileo and Stitch.
His last name was Galilee.
Really?
I feel like there's a comedian that already talked about that, but that's like
Galileo Galilee.
That's like me being, Drew Drewy.
Drew Drewy.
Taylorly.
It'd be like me being Taylor Galilee.
Yeah.
Others came near putting Galileo to death for his astronomical heresies. We ask ourselves this: are not some of us just as biased and unreasonable about the realm of the spirit as were the ancients about the realm of the material?
Mm-hmm.
Even in the present century, American newspapers were afraid to print an account of the Wright brothers' first successful flight at Kitty Hawk. Had not all efforts at flight failed before? Did not Professor Langley's flying machine go to the bottom of the Potomac River? Was it not true that the best mathematical minds had proved man could never fly?
Leonardo da Vinci, Leonardo couldn't even figure it out.
Really?
That's why he went back down to the sewers to fight crime.
Because he's a turtle?
Yeah. Couldn't figure out. He did the whole Renaissance.
Yeah.
And with his turtle friends, and then he couldn't figure out how to do a flying machine. And he's like, fuck it. I'm going to find me a rat to teach me karate.
It's not worth it being a human anymore. Yeah. I'm going to be a turtle that eats pizza.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I like pizza, because they were Italian.
Yeah.
And then
it was made during the Renaissance. I can make pizza.
And guess who's there? The confused Italian.
Hey, what the frick is going on here?
Turtles eating pizza? You ever heard of spaghetti? You know what's better than pizza? Pizza that's like kind of thin and you put sauce on top of it.
I think you're confused again.
No. My shoes on sandwiches like you dumb idiot.
All right, we have to table our characters.
I know.
Back to the book.
But these are the best ones yet.
Oh, no.
Had not people said God is capitalized, that means this is, he felt like it. God had reserved this privilege to the birds. Only 30 years later, the conquest of the air was almost an old story and airplane travel was in full swing.
Damn. So, although we can't see it yet, it doesn't mean that it can't happen. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it can't happen.
Yeah, and everything new is old again.
Yeah. No need to contempt prior to investigation.
Yeah, airplanes...
Everything that's new is old again? What?
You said that, not me. When airplanes were new, I guess they did make airplanes real fast.
Yes, it's kind of crazy. They discovered that they can fly at Kitty Hawk, and then I feel like 10 years later, they're like, put them to war in World War I.
Wow. And then they had combustion engines, right? But they had propellers.
Yeah.
And jet engines.
I know that.
Jet engines.
I don't think in World War I.
No. World War II, did they have jet engines?
You were just signing up to die if you were a pilot in World War I.
Yeah.
I don't know how these things work.
Did World War II have? They had...
Yeah, World War II were like, oh, we can figure this out.
They had
now.
Spitfire. The Spitfire...
And the Japanese were like, let's just use our bodies.
Yeah. The Japanese were... It's Japanese tradition.
We're going to move on.
That's not... I don't know what that means. That doesn't mean anything. Japanese tradition, they do the sword in the stomach thing.
Anyways, we didn't think we can fly, now we can fly.
That's samurai stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to read 15 more paragraphs.
Yeah, and then I'll hop in after the 15th paragraph.
Yeah. But in most fields, our generation has witnessed complete liberation of our thinking. Show any longshoreman a Sunday supplement describing a proposal to explore the moon by means of a rocket, and he will say, I bet they'd do it. Maybe not so long either.
He was right! Because this was before we went to the moon that he wrote this.
Is not our age characterized by the ease with which we discard old ideas for new, by the complete readiness with which we throw away the theory or gadget which does not work for something new which does.
Which does?
There's
a question mark.
We had to ask ourselves why we shouldn't apply to our human problems this same readiness to change our point of view. We were having trouble with personal relationships. We couldn't control our emotional natures. We were a prey to misery and depression. We couldn't make a living. We had a feeling of uselessness. We were full of fear. We were unhappy. We couldn't see to be of real help to other people. Was not a basic solution of these bedevilments more important than whether we should see newsreels of lunar flights? Of course it was.
So that whole paragraph, the whole thing that you read,
bedevilments.
It's the bedevilments. Some people can call them anti-promises too. That's we were feeling all those things in life, and that's why we're here now.
Yes.
Talking about needing a power that's greater than ourselves.
And let's say them all together, once together, all now. Here we go. They are... We were having...
Couldn't control our emotional natures. We're a prey to misery and depression. Couldn't make a living. We had a feeling of uselessness.
Full of fear. Unhappy. And seem to be real people to help other people. Not a basic solution. Those are the bedevilments.
Yeah, and that's your daily Sesame Street. You killed it.
Drew, you pick it up.
Okay.
I'm all read out.
When we solve their problems by simple reliance upon the spirit of the universe, we had to stop doubting the power of God. Our ideas did not work, but God's idea did. Another thing my sponsor says is, if someone's really struggling with 2 and 3,
kiss them.
Kiss them on the lips, and then it's all solved. No, my sponsor does not say that. He says, do you believe that I believe? Yeah. That's like the smallest form of willingness and open-mindedness, I guess. And you would be lying if you're seeing a sponsor succeed in the program, you'd be lying to say, no, I don't believe that you believe. Right? Mm-hmm. So that's where it can start. Back to the book. Back to the fucking Wright brothers, man. Jeez, we get it. They solved it.
They're flying. They can fly.
They figured out how to make popcorn.
They never came out they never came down when they started flying. They made popcorn in the sky.
Everyone knows the story. They formed a bird family in the sky. They figured out how to eat eggs as the birds were flying.
What they don't want to tell you,
had a sky farm. We get it.
What people don't want you to know is once the Wright brothers did all that stuff, they kind of became jerks.
Yeah,
egos went straight to their heads.
Exactly, and that's that was their downfall.
Yeah,
it wasn't that the plane crashed as well.
So, Drew, you know what they say. It ain't nothing but a horse with shorts on.
Yep. That's a little callback for those still listening.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's just a horse with shorts on.
Back to the book. The Wright brothers' almost childish faith that they could build a machine which would fly was the mainspring of their accomplishment. Without that, nothing could have happened. We agnostics and atheists were sticking to the idea that self-sufficiency would solve our problems. When others showed us that God's sufficiency worked with them, we began to feel those who had insisted the Wrights would never fly. Logic is great stuff. We liked it. We still like it. It is not by chance we were given the power to reason, to examine the evidence for our senses, and to draw conclusions. That is one of man's magnificent attributes. We agnostically inclined would not feel satisfied with a proposal which does not lend itself to a reasonable approach and interpretation. Hence, we are at pains to tell why we think our present faith is reasonable, why we think it's more sane and logical to believe than not to believe, why we say our former thinking was soft and mushy. When like peas. Why thinking was soft and mushy when we threw up our hands in doubt and said, we don't know.
We don't know.
Yep. When we became alcoholics, crushed by self-imposed crises, we could not postpone or evade. We had to fearlessly face the proposition that God is either everything or else he is nothing. God either is or he isn't. What was our choice to be? So that's a pretty big one. That gets quoted a lot.
Yeah. God is everything or he is nothing.
It's like, look, your self-sufficiency hasn't worked. Like you relying at least for me, relying completely on myself took me into like 10 years of going back and forth and relapsing. Mm-hmm.
But it's also weird to speaking from my experience, to be in a place where I thought I would. Well, I didn't really pray for my will to be removed until this time around. I wasn't really. I guess I wasn't really privy to that idea of like turning it over to God. And it's weird to be.
You kind of skip. That's kind of like skipping over 2 and 3. Be like, yeah. I've done that. We're like, yeah, okay.
But not even like just not even like comprehending the idea of it. Not even like taking it in that that's a possible way to live.
Yeah, I think the best describer for me is asking and accepting help from outside sources other than myself.
Yeah.
Just like listening to other people.
Yeah.
Having help from other people. And that's in my interpretation a higher power working through other people.
Yeah.
For the longest time, like I was, stayed in isolation because I thought that was comfortable.
Yeah.
And that's where my alcoholism thrived.
Yes.
That's it. It ate my brain up. Where I was, walking in circles and cycles of being like, maybe I can drink, maybe I can't. And it was exhausting.
Yeah. I think for me, my experience has been, I think Mark Houston talks about this in a speaker tape. But I was just, asleep. It was like asleep, dreaming I'm awake, something he says. But I feel like I was just blind to a lot of stuff in AA. Like I didn't even comprehend. There's that word again. I didn't even I just didn't in my brain. I just didn't even give the time of day to some of these ideas in AA. And I've had to go out and come back in and gather some more, go back out and collect. Each time I've come back in, I've gotten a new thing, a new piece of the jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah. And that's what I say too. It's like for those who relapse, come back in because you'll pick it up really quickly. Yeah. And you'll, like you said, you'll gain from the research that you've done. And for me, I had I think of it as like a desperation dial.
Yeah. What was I not doing last time that I need to desperately do this time?
Yeah. And there's stuff we go over when we're like, what did you do to stay sober today? That added onto the list.
Yes.
Right?
I was never praying on my knees until this time around. I wasn't really calling God. I was calling God. Well, no, this time around it's just been it's been a lot more of it. A variety of meetings helps too. Seeing different kinds of successful sobriety helps also.
Yeah. And that's my higher power works in the people that are talking at the meetings, and then I just calm the fuck down. I don't check the Brave score until after the meeting, which is hard for me sometimes. And then I listen. Yeah.
We've been listening to some guy share recently. We're like, this guy is nuts, but he's got so much time, but he doesn't sound sober.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, he was getting into some real woo-woo stuff. And I was just I was getting annoyed because you're sober, but it's not what I want.
Well, it's a daily reprieve thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not everybody's sober, very sober.
I was definitely being judgmental.
Yeah, it's a natural human thing.
But it was just, I was like, this guy's weird.
People are weird in the program.
Some people are weird.
Just let them be weird.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
But people can also say really amazing things.
Yes.
So you just focus on the amazing things said that you connect with, and you're like, okay, that person's being weird. We'll let them be weird. Yeah. And then, you kind of navigate your way through that.
Like a snake.
Like a snake, sometimes on a plane. All right, we gotta hop right back in. I can read a couple more paragraphs and I'll pass it off to you. Yes. Oh shit! Back to the book. Arrived at this point, we were squarely confronted with the question of faith. We could duck the issue. Some of us had already walked. We couldn't duck the issue. JK. JK. It says we couldn't duck the issue. Some of us had already walked far over the bridge of reason toward the desired shore of faith. The outlines and the promise of the new land had brought luster to the tired eyes and fresh courage to the flagging spirits. Is that
flagging? There's no L.
There's no L. I wanted to say flagging.
Get it together.
Oh, man, I gotta straighten up. Back to the book. Friendly hands had stretched out in welcome. We were grateful that reason had brought us so far, but somehow we couldn't quite step ashore. Perhaps we had been leaning too heavily on reason that last mile, and we did not like to lose our support. don't be a Maximilien Robespierre. You can't live your life on reason, you know? Robespierre tried to take over France, and he tried to eliminate religion. We're not saying join a religion, but he tried to eliminate all that stuff and just have people pray to reason.
Yeah, what an insane name.
Yeah.
Robespierre.
Sure, Jacques-Louis David painted him and shit, but, like, damn, Robespierre no one liked him.
Yeah.
No one liked him before and after he was in power, and he got his head chopped off.
He's a bad guy?
Yeah, he was really troubled. You know, he was sick.
He was sick.
He was emotionally sick.
Really?
And he wanted to ride that reason wave for too long.
Was he a philosopher?
No. He was a French statesman that took advantage of the chaos of the French Revolution.
Well, man.
But he like really focused on reason.
Do you know a lot about the French Revolution?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. My favorite professor in college taught that, and I was like, I'll just keep taking classes.
What's your favorite part of the French Revolution?
I don't know, the philosophy.
Why did it start?
I like how Napoleon came in and he's like, this is bonkers. I'm gonna like set things right, and everyone was so exhausted and they're like, fine.
Yeah. But Napoleon was a bad guy.
No,
he's a good guy.
He was complicated.
How did he die? Wait, why did he?
He got ousted. We talked about this already in Bill's story. Yeah,
we talked about Napoleon.
He got a Saint Helena. That was the second one. Bill wanted Elba, but not Saint Helena.
I thought Napoleon took over a lot of the world.
He did. He conquered a lot of Europe.
Oh, okay.
He was no like Alexander the Great or anything like that. And it's always everybody's mistake to try to take it like
Russia.
Take over Russia's too fucking big.
Yeah.
The winter's too dire.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have the technology to go through Russia.
Yeah. Is Russia bigger than the United States?
Yeah. Is that a serious question?
I think it is. How many United States can fit in Russia?
Ooh, at least a couple.
Okay, we covered that.
Sorry. I saw a reason capitalized and I had to go into a Maximilien Robespierre thing.
Robespierre?
Yeah, that's probably how he said it. He was a little bitch and no one liked him.
Whoa.
That's said by his friends.
I'm bleeping all of that. That was rude.
It was said by his acquaintances.
He's a little bitch.
Yeah, they were afraid of him. He was short too. I bet you Robespierre was probably shorter than Napoleon. I'll look that up later. But
I remember some cartoon.
You know, Robespierre had to have a micro dick, right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Napoleon.
I think he was normal.
Do you think? Oh, okay.
I'm a Napoleon stan. I don't care.
What does it mean to be a stan? I don't know what that means.
You're born with the name Stanley.
No.
And you go.
No.
You take a short.
Tell me what it means. Tell me what it means.
It's a Gen Z thing. I don't know.
When you say you're a such and such stan.
You stand for that thing.
So what about I'm a burrito stan?
Oh,
like,
yeah,
I
you
love burritos. I want to do regular stuff.
I am
ducks.
I'm a Stan. I love Stanley Tucci.
I'm a Stan. I'm a flat Stanley stan.
I'm a Stan. I love Stanley Steamers.
Stanley Steamer?
Yeah.
Gets your carpet cleaner. Stanley Steamer started in my hometown.
Yeah, no one's gonna listen to this.
They like this stuff. I've been told they love this stuff.
Ugh.
They like the in between.
We've got to get through this chapter.
Listen, we're like a cake. Okay, we're in the middle of the cake.
How long have we been going?
37.
Okay.
And then the book is like other parts of the cake. And then when we go off on tangents, that's also other parts of the cake. But listen,
it's just a crepe cake, a 1,000-layer crepe cake, and all the crepes are fucking tangents.
Yeah.
I hope. Never mind.
And then there's so many parts of this cake. And who's the cook? The confused Italians.
Hey, what are we doing? We still making this cake? Oh boy, we got to get back to the book.
And then
that was more Rodney Dangerfield.
Your guy is like, maybe this is also shoes.
All right, we did it.
We did it.
Back to the book.
We riffed
all right.
Riff no more.
Reason's good, but we can't do it all the way with reason. That was natural. Back to the book for real. Yeah. That was natural, but let's think a little more closely. Without knowing it, had we not been brought to where we stood by a certain kind of faith? For did we not?
Bill,
Bill,
why'd you do that?
God damn. For did we not believe in our own reasoning? I feel like Bill wrote that with like a curly mustache.
For did
we not believe in our own reasoning?
And then Bill is what the fuck? And he just rips it off.
No.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, Drew and Taylor.
Like, did Drew and Taylor take something? What the fuck's happening? Did we not have confidence in our ability to think? What was that but sort of faith? Yes, we had been faithful, abjectly faithful to the God of reason. like Maximilien Robespierre was. So, in one way or another, we've discovered that faith had been involved all the time. Psych. Got him. Ashton Kutcher punked. Back to the book. We found, too, that we had been worshippers. What a state of mental goose flesh that used this to bring on.
Does your E have a
goose flesh?
No, it's what a state. My E has a
state of mental goose flesh.
My state, the E in my state has a accent over it.
Oh, mine?
Does yours?
I think it's a speck. I think it's like a pencil speck, like a pin speck. Mine does not.
What the heck? Looks like an I lost the top of it.
We're going to do this. I believe in ourselves. We found, too, that we had been worshipers. What a state of mental goose flesh that used to bring on. We had not variously worshipped people. Had we not variously worshipped people, sentiment, things, money, and ourselves, and then with a better motive, had we not worshipfully beheld the sunset and the sea or a flower, who of us had not loved something or somebody? How much did these feelings, these loves, these worships had to do with pure reason? Little or nothing. We saw it last. Were not these things the tissue out of which our lives were constructed? Did not these feelings, after all, determine the course of our existence? A lot of questions you're asking, Bill. It was impossible to say we had no capacity for faith or love or worship. In one form or another, we had been living by faith and little else.
Mm-hmm. Faith that, I can drink.
Yeah.
Maybe that's faith.
Faith that I can have alcohol in my life. Yeah. I don't like to say anymore I can drink like a normal person, because for me, I never wanted to drink like a normal person.
I wouldn't want to if I started again.
Yeah. But faith that I can maybe have alcohol close to me in my life.
I would want to drink 3 24-ounce beers.
Ooh, yeah.
Right away.
A couple 40s. Yeah.
That's what I would want to do.
Yep. I want to finish this page and I'll pass it off to you.
We're really close. Look.
I know. That's why I said I'll finish this page and I'll pass it.
No, I'm just saying we're really
blowing up.
We're gonna finish this.
Imagine life without faith.
Think about it.
Where nothing left but pure reason. It wouldn't be life. Yeah, like I said, like they tried to do that in the French Revolution. It did not go over well.
No,
it did not go over well.
Did a lot of people die?
Death. Yeah,
really?
Because there are different factions.
Were people striking, or
there's just
what was
different factions and political parties after the First Estate. I should know this. I think First Estate was the aristocracy. Second Estate was the theocracy, and the Third Estate was everybody else.
Did they have
the Third
guns?
Estate take over? Yeah, they had various weapons. The guillotine came from the French Revolution.
Oh.
So,
Who was in charge during the French Revolution?
Exactly.
Oh, okay. So it's like a fight for power.
So, yeah, there's like a struggle for power.
But it was like a civil war.
There's a dude named Danton that people really liked. There's this dude that wrote stuff named Marat people really liked. He was really gross though. He had had sores and shit and like gross shit, and he took baths, and this woman named Charlotte Cordray like killed him because he was of a fighting political faction that he was like writing stuff, and she like snuck in and killed him because he'd take these baths because he had sores. And there's like a famous painting of him like with like band over his head and like dead in the bathtub.
Yeah, I think I've seen that painting.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of fun stuff in there, but a lot of death and a lot of people not knowing what the fuck's going on.
Was it like a civil war kind
French
of?
people being French, Was
it like a French civil war?
Yeah, in a way. And it was just a fight for, people to have political, social, and economic like equality and respect. Yeah. And of course, that ended up in an empire.
Wow.
And that ended up in more order and structure than you had before, just in the form of like Napoleon telling you what to do. But you got the Napoleonic codes out of that, so you didn't,
The what?
Napoleonic codes.
I don't know what that is.
It's a different laws and stuff that still practice in like Louisiana and New Orleans and stuff.
Okay. The French Quarter.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you got fun culture and different things from the French Revolution, even though you didn't get political justice.
Okay.
Sorry.
Wow.
Ooh, we got there.
I know a lot more now about the French Revolution than I did before tonight.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun to study, but I wouldn't want to be in there in the hot mess. And the Les Mis, the musical Les Mis, is not about the French Revolution. It's after.
Yeah.
It's a June revolt. It's a small revolt.
Oh.
Yeah.
What? There's so much. We could have a whole podcast about just the French Revolution. Yeah. Maybe we should do our own Dan Harmon thing.
I don't know. What does he do? Hire
Dan
people?
something Dan. He does
hires horrible people to do horrible things.
No, not Dan Harmon. Sorry, a different guy. Dan something. He hardcore history.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he
probably knows a lot more than I do. I'm kind of spitballing here on this stuff.
Okay, you made all that up?
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow, incredible. Let's get back into the book.
Okay, I passed it off to you, didn't I?
Okay.
We found. No, we already said that.
We finally saw.
No. Hints.
Hence.
Bottom of 54, right?
Hence, we saw that reason.
No. Just kidding.
I forget.
We found to.
Yet.
In one form or another, we have been living by faith and little else. Imagine life without faith, where nothing left. Of course we did. We could not prove life in the sense that you can prove a straight line is the shortest distance between 2 points. Yet there was. Could we still say the whole thing was nothing but a mass of electrons created out of nothing, meaning nothing, whirling on a destiny of nothingness? Of course we couldn't. The electrons themselves seem more intelligent than that, at least so the chemist said. Okay. Just examples of things that we can't see but we trust.
Okay.
Electrons being like, we're things. Yeah. I'm sorry about all this French Revolution tangent. I feel bad.
I forgot where we were.
I'm really sorry.
That's okay. No, I like history stuff.
I'm sorry.
It always has interested me, but history stuff in school for me was always interesting. I just didn't want to take tests and write papers about it.
Yeah.
I just like to hear it and then forget about it. But in the moment,
that was good. Bye.
Because I'm not learning much from history. Because history, does it repeat itself or something?
No, that's the phrase. History never repeats itself, so you better be in the moment.
Don't learn. Hence, we saw the reason isn't everything. Neither is reason, as most of us use it, entirely dependable, though it emanate from our best minds. What about people who prove that man could never fly?
Back to that thing again.
Yeah, we had been seeing another kind of flight, a spiritual liberation from this world, people who rose above their problems. They said God made these things possible, and we only smiled. Okay, Bill.
Okay. Bill's on one again, baby.
We had seen spiritual release, but liked to tell ourselves it wasn't true. Actually, we were fooling ourselves. For deep down in every man, woman, and child, and dog and cat and caterpillar and ant,
that's not what it says,
is the fundamental idea of God. Oh, this is a good paragraph.
Yeah, I had this underlined.
Actually, we may be fooling ourselves. For deep down in every man, woman, and child is the fundamental idea of God. Mm-hmm. God is just a little bit of God in everybody.
He's everything or he's nothing.
A spoonful of God makes the medicine go down.
Yeah, Julie Andrews, shout out.
It may be obscured by calamity, by pomp, by worship of other things, but in some form or other it is there. For faith in a power greater than ourselves and miraculous demonstrations of that power in human lives are facts as old as man himself. We finally saw that faith in some kind of God, not a specific one. We finally saw that faith in some kind of God was a part of our makeup, just as much as the feeling we have for a friend. Sometimes, that's so sweet. Sometimes we had to search fearlessly, but he was there. He was as much a fact as we were. We found the great reality deep down within us. In the last analysis, it is only there that he may be found. It was so with us.
So you ever have a sponsor ask you to write the characteristics that you would want to have in your higher power?
No.
I've had a sponsor ask me that. I thought that was kind of cool. And I wrote down what a supportive friend would have in terms of
I just had a sponsor that said it could be snakes.
Could be snakes. No one knows.
Sure, your tires popped, but it could be snakes.
Yeah.
We can only clear the ground a bit. If our testimony helps sweep away prejudice, enables you to think honestly, encourages you to search diligently within yourself, then if you wish, you can join us on the broad highway. Whoa.
Highway broad as fuck.
Whoa. With this attitude, you cannot fail. The consciousness of your belief is sure to come to you. In this book, you will read the experience of a man who thought he was an atheist. His story is so interesting that some of it should be told now. His change of heart was dramatic, convincing, and moving.
Before we get to that story, I will say the last sentence of this is a nice little promise. With this attitude, so the attitude of open-mindedness, to hop on the broad highway of your higher power you're choosing, you cannot fail.
Yeah.
The consciousness of your belief is sure to come true. That's a big old fat promise.
We'll say that again.
We read it, but
I always say it again.
The consciousness of your belief is sure to come true.
Yeah. So the
idea of your belief.
So it's
the
Yeah.
Do you want me to look up consciousness?
No. That's what's in my head.
Yeah.
I know what that is. It's the spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah, all good stuff.
All good stuff.
I got a lot of fish swimming around right now.
It's okay. We're getting there. I fucked you up with the history. It's my fault.
I know. It really exhausted me.
Really was bad. Did not mean to take you to school.
I wasn't ready for history today.
Oof. Me neither.
God and history.
Fucking reason was in there. I went off.
Robespierre strikes again.
Yeah. How dare he?
How dare he?
He was so rude.
That's why he died.
So mean. Ugh. He killed so many people.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, and you didn't say that before.
Yeah, he executed a lot of people.
Yeah.
He was like, you don't agree with me?
But yeah, the God stuff is like I'm very grateful that I've turned around to the God stuff.
Yeah.
And just like it's
not that it's a big deal, but not that big of a deal.
No,
like in terms of like your interpretation, it's like.
But once I've done where I am at now, I'm like, I don't feel like I can go back to how I was living life before.
Yeah.
Now that I'm like, I feel so open and like whatever God is, it's that. And I don't have a defining thing about it, but it's so cool for me to be able, it's so wild for me to be able to, now I'm like, I pray on my knees in the morning and at night. I just do that.
Yeah.
And it works for me, but it's like, you couldn't have told me that some time ago that I would do that.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's cool to be able to talk to this thing that is out there and be able to say whatever I want to it and just be like, hey man, I can't do this thing alone. And I just being like, man, I have faith that having faith in you, everything will work out. It's just like, and I don't know if that's just being like making myself, fooling myself and be like, whatever happens, happens, and that's how it's supposed to be. I don't know if it's fooling myself, but it doesn't feel like that.
No, I 100% agree with that. Like, I need to have action in this program and in my life in order to stay sane each day. Yeah. And there are moments where if I don't do those actions, I'll go back to like selfish behaviors and just being an asshole and reacting. But like you talked about, that little crack of the window or of the door of open-mindedness to a higher power I feel like is always going to be open. Yeah. I know what that feels like, and I know how to jump back into that if I stray away from it. So that's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool feeling. It's a pretty cool feeling not to care what other people think about it.
I'm very much in a place. I used to be a little, I guess, embarrassed or shameful about it, but I'm not. We're at a comedy show for some reason. Wait, what? Oh, we were at a comedy show recently, and someone said like, "Oh, you guys believe in God?" I was like, "Yeah." I started clapping. Like, "Yeah, I'm not. I just do." Yeah. Okay, and it's not. Listen, it's not the God you think it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't even know.
I don't even know what it is.
I don't even know. We don't know.
I just know there's something there that's not me. I'm not in charge.
All right, let's blaze right through this and just finish the chapter, and then we'll talk about it.
The tippy top of 56.
Yeah. Our friend this is the story. Our friend was a minister's son. He attended church school where he became rebellious at what he thought was an overdose of religious education. For years thereafter, he was dogged by trouble and frustration, business failure, insanity, fatal illness, suicide. These calamities in his immediate family embittered and depressed him. Post-war disillusionment, ever more serious alcoholism, and impending mental and physical collapse brought him to the point of self-destruction. One night, when confined in a hospital, he was approached by an alcoholic who had known a spiritual experience. Our friend's gorge rose as he bitterly cried out, "If there is a God, he certainly hasn't done anything for me." That is common in a lot of newcomers saying that, and I believe it, and I was there too. But later, alone in his room, he asked himself this question: is it possible that all the religious people I had known are wrong? While pondering the answer, he felt as though he lived in hell. Then, like a thunderbolt, a great thought came. It crowded out all else. Who are you to say there is no God? This is him talking to himself. Yeah. Who am I to say that there's no God? This man recounts that he tumbled out of bed to his knees. In a few seconds, he was overwhelmed by a conviction of the presence of God. So he kind of had a white light moment. Mm-hmm. It poured over through him with the certainty and majesty of a great tide at flood. The barriers he had built through the years were swept away. He stood in the presence of infinite power and love. He had stepped from bridge to shore. For the first time, he lived in conscious companionship with his creator. I like that. Conscious companionship with your creator. That's kind of like the goal.
That's kind of what I've been trying to say. That's God's where will. I feel. Yeah. I feel very... for a month or a minute now, I've felt just the presence of God in my life.
That's cool.
And I don't know if it's just daily praying or whatever. I'm just like...
I'm sure that helps.
Yeah. But it's like, it just feels like God is in my life.
That's awesome.
And it's just... I want to say this real quick about... It's just like... God is... For me, it's like... I guess when I was talking to my friend Luke about this, about like God is just... For me, it's like God is bigger and vaster than anything in my life I will ever be able to... Nothing else will comprehend. And it's a really beautiful thing that God is this thing that I cannot touch or feel, even though sometimes it feels like I feel.
It's relaxing now to know that I don't have to figure out God completely.
Yeah.
It used to be frustrating, but now it's kind of like
this thing. I'm still figuring out this relationship with God.
You'll always still figure it out.
And it's a cool thing.
I wrote psychic change.
Yeah, maybe that's the psychic change is coming around to God. Mm-hmm. I feel like the psychic change has, you psychically change your underwear. You psychically change your.
Yeah, you're in your psyche. You're like, I gotta change this.
Yeah, I haven't changed my psychic
underwear. All right, we got a few more paragraphs and we'll finish up. Thus was our friend's cornerstone fixed in place. No latter vicissitude has shaken it. What's vicissitude? What is that?
We should look up that word because Bill's on one for sure.
He's on that. I should probably know what this means.
Vicissitude. It's kind of like viscous. It's like a viscous attitude. Maybe that's what it is.
A change of circumstance or fortune, typically one that is unwelcome or unpleasant.
Ooh. I didn't listen when you said that. You got to read it.
Obstacles.
Oh, okay. Cool.
No later obstacle is shaken it. Or problems. Life problems. Back to the book. His alcoholic problem was taken away that very night years ago. It disappeared. Save for a few brief moments of temptation, the thought of drink has never returned. And at such times, a great revulsion has risen up in him. Seemingly, he could not drink even if he would. God has restored his sanity. What is this but a miracle of healing? Yet its elements are simple. Circumstances made him willing to believe. He humbly offered himself to his maker. Then he knew. Even so... has God restored us all our right minds? To this man, the revelation was sudden. Some of us grow into it more slowly. A majority of us, and we say that, grow into it more slowly. We've read the appendix before.
It only took me 6 years.
Yeah, but he has come. He, in terms of God, has come to all who have honestly sought him. That's another little promise. When we drew near to him, he disclosed himself to us.
Yeah, what did we read? What did we read about? I guess it was in this chapter. It was like God is there for those who seek him, or like God reveals himself to those who seek.
Yeah.
Something.
Not
God,
too hard.
Yeah.
It's not too difficult.
Yeah.
We get it.
Yeah. Well, we did it. We Agnostics, chapter done. Drew, at this rate,
it's a lot of stuff in that chapter. And
it's a good chapter.
A lot of tangents, so
we did
sorry.
The French Revolution, the confused Italians, but it wouldn't be Sober Boys if it wasn't Drew and Taylor.
That's another Al Smith. That's another Al Smith classic.
Exactly what this.
He's always saying that shit.
Hey, dude, we are.
Yeah, crushing it.
Yeah, you know why this is funny?
Okay.
You know why this is funny?
Because it's like...
Because that's what a nutcracker does.
Oh, yeah.
He crushes nuts. He cracks them, really, but... So, honestly, this cup kind of sucks.
Yeah, he's like a famous gay performer, right?
This is Al Smith.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
It should say cracking it, because it's a nutcracker.
Next
week,
we're going to go through how it works, and we will read something that is read in a lot of meetings.
Oh, we're going to get how it works. We're getting to the 12 steps.
Yeah, baby.
Drew, there's so much more that we have to do.
Yeah.
I mean, we are on page... We got through 50-some pages in 11 episodes. So let's see, 20 episodes will be through 100. And wow. Well, stick in board because there's a long road to who knows where it's going, but
long way to the top if you want to rock and roll.
It is a long way to the rock if you want to
top and roll. Long way to the rock if you want to top and roll.
And with that,
we leave you on that.
Well,
thank
you so much.
Thank you so much
for being with us one more time.
And no more French Revolution, I promise.
Drew, I hope he doesn't mean that because I thoroughly enjoyed that, even though it threw off the balance.
It sure did.
It really. Thank you for whoever listens.
Mm-hmm.
This is as Al Smith once said, and Drew says it too. Favorite meeting of the week.
Favorite meeting. This is one of my favorite meetings of the week.
It's fun.
It's right up there with our home group.
Boys to Men.
Yeah, baby.
I enjoyed this one. This is a good one.
As Al Smith always says, I also enjoyed this one.
Al Smith said so much.
All right.
Al Smith said all the things, so now no one can have a quote attributed to them.
That's mine.
That's mine. You're under arrest. Don't swim don't eat and then swim right away.
That's what Al Smith said. With that one, thank you, Al Smith, for all your quotes and sayings. Yes. We hope you have a great one.
Yes, I'm Taylor.
I'm Drew.
That's Drew. We alcoholics.
It's over, boys. Bye.
All right, well, goodbye.